नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्ति भवति नैष्टिकी. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 1 and Text 10. Prayena Alpayushaha Sabhya Prayena Alpayusha Sabhya Kalau Asmin Yuge Janaha Kalau Asmin Yuge Janaha Mandaha Sumanda Matayaha Manda Sumanda Matayo Manda Bhagya Hi Upadrutaha Manda Bhagya Hi Upadrutaha Prayena Alpayusha Sabhya Kalau Asmin Yuge Janaha Mandaha Sumanda Matayo Manda Bhagya Hi Upadrutaha Prayena Alpayusha Sabhya Kalau Asmin Yuge Janaha Mandaha Sumanda Matayo Manda Bhagya Hi Upadrutaha Prayena Alpayusha Sabhya Kalau Asmin Yuge Janaha Manda Sumanda Matayo Manda Bhagya Hi Upadrutaha Prayena Alpayusha Sabhya Kalau Asmin Yuge Janaha Manda Sumanda Matayo Manda Bhagya Hi Upadrutaha. We will read word to word meanings. Prayena almost always. Alpa meager. Ayushaha duration of life. Sabhya member of a learned society. Kalau in this age of Kali. Quarrel. Asmin herein. Yuge age. Janaha the public. Mandaha lazy. Sumandamatayaha misguided. Mandabhagyaha unlucky. He and above all Upadrutaha disturbed. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation. O learned one, in this iron age of Kali, men have but short lives. They are quarrelsome, lazy, misguided, unlucky, and above all, always disturbed. Please repeat. O learned one, in this iron age of Kali, men have but short lives. They are quarrelsome, lazy, misguided, unlucky, and above all, always disturbed. Purport by Sri Prabhupada. The devotees of the Lord are always anxious for the spiritual improvement of the general public. When the sages of Naimisharanya analyzed the state of affairs of the people in this age of Kali, they foresaw that men would live short lives. In Kali Yuga, the duration of life is shortened not so much because of insufficient food, but because of irregular habits. By keeping regular habits and eating simple food, any man can maintain his health. Overeating, over sense gratification, over dependence on another's mercy, and artificial standards of living sap the very vitality of human energy. Therefore, the duration of life is shortened. The people of this age are also very lazy, not only materially but in the matter of self realization. The human life is especially meant for self realization. That is to say, man should come to know what he is, what the world is, and what the supreme truth is. Human life is a means by which the living entity can end all the miseries of the hard struggle for life in material existence, and by which he can return to Godhead, his eternal home. But due to a bad system of education, men have no desire for self realization. Even if they come to know about it, they unfortunately become victims of misguided teachers. In this age, men are victims not only of different political creeds and parties, but also of many different types of sense gratificatory diversions, such as cinemas, sports, gambling, clubs, mundane libraries, bad association, smoking, drinking, cheating, pilfering, bickerings, and so on. Their minds are always disturbed and full of anxieties due to so many different engagements. In this age, many unscrupulous men manufacture their own religious faiths which are not based on any revealed scriptures, and very often people who are addicted to sense gratification are attracted by such institutions. Consequently, in the name of religion, so many sinful acts are being carried on that the people in general have neither peace of mind nor health of body. The student brahmachari communities are no longer being maintained, and householders do not observe the rules and regulations of the Grihastha. Consequently, the so-called Vanaprasthas and sannyasis who come out of such Grihastha are easily deviated from the rigid path. In the Kali Yuga, the whole atmosphere is surcharged with faithlessness. Men are no longer interested in spiritual values. Material sense gratification is now the standard of civilization. For the maintenance of such material civilizations, man has formed complex nations and communities, and there is a constant strain of hot and cold wars between these different groups. It has become very difficult, therefore, to raise the spiritual standard due to the present distorted values of human society. The sages of Naimisharanya are anxious to disentangle all fallen souls, and here they are seeking the remedy from Srila Sutta Goswami. The sense the Bhaktivedanta Purport Vijnana Dasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyanta Deshatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this is a ominous shloka in Srimad Bhagavatam forecasting the age of Kali and how the public in general, how they will be. So, Prayena Alpayusha Sabhya. Sabhya means member of a learned society, that is Sutta Goswami. So the sages are eager to hear a learned member, and they are wanting to know how in this Kali Yuga, with so many issues at hand, people can focus on spiritual life. They are concerned. Now, what are the issues in this age? That is also foreseen by these sages. This is written 5000 years ago. Now we can see in Kali Yuga what are the symptoms, and they will exactly match. When purport is being read, we can see how many points are matching. So, Prayena Alpayusha. The first point is that almost everybody will have Alpayusha. Alpayusha means less duration of life. Ayusha, duration of life. Actually, according to the Shastra, as soon as the living entity enters the womb of a mother, at that time only, we say no, Brahmarata, at that time only there are certain things which are fixed. There are many parameters are already fixed. Now what are those parameters? One of the parameters is how many years we are going to live in this world. It's already fixed. Actually, it is not in terms of the years, it is in terms of the number of breathing cycles. That is called one breathing cycle. So as soon as we take up this body, now this body is being decided that this many number of breathing cycles will be available to you. This is the thing. Now if the breathing cycles are spent too fast, let us say you are very angry, then what happens? You are actually consuming your lifespan. So that's why there are certain sages in Himalaya. They know how to manage these breathing cycles. So for Kumbh Mela, they'll come out once in a while, and some of those sages are living for the last 400 years, 600 years like that. Possible. Technically, it is very much possible because the lifespan is determined by the number of breathing cycles. Of course, living long is not the goal of life. There is a tree in Calcutta Botanical Garden which was living for the last 10,000 years. So living long is not the criteria. Trees are living much longer than us, but that's not the criteria here is self-realization. Human form has great facility in comparison to other forms of life. And what is that great facility? He can inquire about subtleties of the existence. This is called self-realization. He can inquire, what am I? Who am I? What is this world around? What is the truth here? Why am I seeing this? Why am I seeing that? Don't close your eyes. You should ask these questions. This is human life. So that's why it is said that Brahma Jijnasa. Jijnasa means inquisitive nature. Human being already has this inquisitive nature, but that inquisitive nature should be utilized to ask about the subtle existence, ask about higher existence in our lives. So that's why here, first point is of course Alpayusha. Prabhupada explains here why people are having short lives. We are actually supposed to live a long life. In Kali Yuga, it is maximum is 100. Then the previous age, Dwapara, the maximum age is 1000. And before that, 10,000, 10 times. And Satya Yoga, it is said that they can live for 1 lakh years. Valmiki, he practiced tapas for 60,000 years. This number of years looks fabulously unbelievable, but Valmiki has meditated for 60,000 years before he wrote Valmiki Ramayana about Ramachandra. He practiced so much of meditation. Actually speaking, people can live longer. They are big company owners. They are investing a lot of money and trying to understand how to extend the lifespan. The heads of Microsoft and Google and all these big companies, they are thinking, if I can live 1 more year, I can multiply my opulence by 1 more billion, whatever. So everybody is interested to enhance the life, particularly the successful people. So then why is it that people's lifespans are coming down, although we are supposed to live at least for 100 years? The Prabhupada is explaining here that it is not because of lack of food, shortage of food, but because of the irregular habits. Food is available amply, but irregular habits, the irregular habits of eating actually eats up the lifespan. What is the irregular habits means? For example, every day we are supposed to take breakfast, but let us say you skip your breakfast. You or you make it irregular. Take breakfast at 10 today, and yesterday it is 6 o'clock. Then next day it is 11. Afterwards your lunch is at 4, and then your dinner is at 12. 11 for no. This is not the habits have to be regular. And then Shastra says we should only eat the food which is offered to God. This is a very important habit. That's why when you first time come to Hare Krishna movement, you would have observed, maybe you are surprised also, that initially, at least my experience, initially when I went to this ISKCON Bangalore temple, that time after the Arati or something, they told that some prasadam will be available, you please take it. I thought, okay, my regular training was that whenever we go to temple, some temples they give prasad. And you know what is that prasad means? They give little, maybe donna, in the hand they put little. Prasadam means we'll always say, little. Then we eat. Tirupati laddu comes, little we eat. So on that day I was surprised that after the Arati and all that, we were led into one big hall like this. And then they said, now you please sit down. And I was wondering what's happening. And then they started putting plates. And then they said, in our movement, prasadam means full meal. And not only once, whole day, morning, afternoon and night. It's all prasadam. And we were thinking, wow, prasadam is anyway very, very attractive. So why not take only that? Why not take only that? So this is the advantage. Try to keep your habits, food habits, discipline. And Prabhupada is saying here, keeping regular habits and eating simple food, any man can maintain health. If you want to maintain your health, keep regular eating habits, and second, keep it simple. Simple food. I would say breakfast, we should finish it off by 9 o'clock. Of course, except today, because we are attending some class. Otherwise, generally by 7:38 is a good time. and then try to finish your lunch by 1, and then after 4 hours you can have some small little snack or something, and then a night, say before 8, before 7, have some simple. Actually, night meal should be very simple. Your biggest meal can be in the afternoon or in the morning, and the night meal should be very simple. Simple means maybe 1 or 2, maximum chapati, and little dal, or okay, little rice and a little whatever sabji. That's all. That should be the night time. If you fill up your belly, then it becomes very. It's not hygienic. Okay, so Prabhupada is saying here, keep simple food. See, simple food means as much as possible, we should only cook our food. We know what ingredients are going inside. And then that food you offer to God, very simple. And then nicely, happily in an environment you honor. All family members can sit together if possible. Or you keep it like this. At least one meal we will sit together and eat. Family should be like that. As mostly morning will be the easiest to manage. So sit together, hot. Food should be very hot. It's not cold and refrigerated and kept it in fridge for the last 1 year. And then you suddenly wake up and say, oh, in this corner there is something. And dalo. No. It should be very fresh. In fact, Ayurveda says you need that kothimira, coriander, and then that karvepaku, curry leaves. I remember they used to go into the backyard of the house, they just pluck it and immediately put it there. The freshly grown, freshly this. Why I am saying, just 2 days back, I came across one video. And in that video, they were showcasing the vegetarian packets that we purchase from the market. I don't want to say company name because we are recording. So there is one company, potato chips, very popular. And everybody consumes, including, even sometimes, devotees like us who are practicing, we think, okay, it's a normal vegetarian. That person is showing in the very packet, if you turn it backside, you will see the list of things that goes inside, right? Ingredients. There are some numbers are mentioned. E731, E some 625. Till now I have not understood what are they. I know they very nicely put on. Some things they will write openly. They will say potatoes and then salt and pepper. You think, wow, what a innocent ingredients. Actually so. But then below that they have written E some 625 and E731. Then we googled it. What is this E731? When we googled E731, it is mentioned that it is a chemical that is taken from pigs. It's a pig flesh. Can you believe? We can never ever think of think of eating pig. And it goes into every packet. Most of the foods which are packed and can stay on for years together. You see these packets hanging all along the road when you go and all the body shops will be hanging. I'll always be thinking how the food can stay so long. Because they put these chemicals. These chemicals come from slaughterhouses. That pig flesh and this and that. I was shocked. Of course, we generally don't eat, but I'm just saying, you be very careful about what you eat. Of course, sometimes we may have to eat in this thing, but then always watch for these cryptic numbers. E 731 or E 627, all that. In some of the numbers they have shown, uh, it is some number which actually means their kidas, insects, derived from insects. So we were thinking, oh my God, apparently looking like a vegetarian simple food, but we are eating pigs, insects, and all kinds of things. So very well. And then, of course, I will say some things you should not get. Even ketchups, as simple as that, what we use, be watchful. Just turn that bottle once again and then see what are those cryptic numbers which are there, and immediately Google and see what exactly. That's why Prabhupada is saying we will not be able to maintain our health if we eat all kinds of food like this. Horrible it is. Although we don't never want to do any of those things, see how we are forced to do. This is the danger. So that's why Prabhupada is saying regular habits and simple food. Actually, generally, when we are flying or traveling, what we generally do is, devotees, we cook some items which can stay on for a little longer, and then whenever there is a time, then we take up. So, similarly, you are all now practicing Krishna consciousness. Do this. No hesitation. Sometimes society sees us little differently. What is this Swamiji? Easy. But then, I pity them because they're eating something. But whereas we're eating little hot. Interest. See, as simple as, say, let us say one box of little pulahogare or whatever khichdi we eat. How nice the khichdi is, hot, right? So simple food, tasty food is very healthy. And don't hesitate. You just prepare if possible and then take it up. Actually, to resolve some of these issues, of course, I'm Hare Krishna. We have introduced recently one product called Vasudha. We have launched one product. It has no preservatives, no chemicals. We have launched in our Golden Temple recently because we have seen all this. The junk food is killing people. So they are ready to eat millet based and all those healthy foods, and they are not refrigerated for decades. They're very fresh and it will not stay more than some items don't stay more than 1 month or more than 2 months because they we want to keep them fresh. So this is the secret to maintain good health. Then Prabhupada is mentioning 4 things which will reduce our vitality. It will sap our energy. 1. Overeating. What is overeating? Eating beyond what we can digest in one shot. Generally, when you eat something, in the next 4 hours, you should feel hungry. If you're not feeling hungry, that means you have overeaten. In 4 hours, we should feel hungry again. That is called, that's a good habit. And second, if you're not feeling hungry, don't drag yourself into food room or wherever and somehow eat, time ho gaya, okay, kuch khana hai. No, not required. Your body is already telling you're not feeling hungry, there's no need. Then while eating, how do I know that it is I'm getting full? Actually, this body has a mechanism. మన తెలుగులో ఏమంటామంటే తేన్పు అంటాం మన బ్లర్పింగ్ when you are eating there is a blurb that comes. That's the first indication that now we are full. Generally we don't stop there. We'll go on. Then it gives the second signal, second blurb. Mostly nobody cares for it. Gives the third one. After third it doesn't give. All gone. All systems are gone. So one more point is that don't eat in anxiety. Because while eating, you are not only eating, you are eating your emotions also. So anxiety, you are angry, and you are eating those emotions also. So consciousness is very important while eating prasad. That's why we say honoring prasad. We offer prayers, and then our mind also becomes calmed down. The focus comes on God, and then, my Lord, today I am able to eat this by your grace. There is a gratitude, gratefulness, because there are millions who go hungry, but I am having a full plate in front of me. Hare Krishna. And then nicely, each bite you enjoy, nicely relish. There is no anxiety, there is no hurry. The world can stop. You just nicely enjoy remembering God and enjoy savoring the taste. It is very important. Okay? So then, otherwise, overeating will happen. Overeating, anything that is more than what you can digest, according to Ayurveda, it turns into what is known as ama. AMA, ama means it turns into toxic material. It turns into poison. To remove that, so many things we have to do. So this is called overeating. Next, over sense gratification. Too many, what do you say, too many activities of sense gratification, trying to enjoy beyond our capacity, and then over dependence on another's mercy. This will also drain our energy. Let us say you are always dependent on somebody else for your sustenance or for your protection or for your whatever. Over dependence on somebody's mercy, we are finished. Our energy is sapped. You will be under great anxiety. Why? Because we don't know, we cannot believe that person. And you are dependent on him. He will give or not give. Unfortunately, most of the jobs are like that today. Right? We have to depend on our employer, and when that fellow will remove, no idea. Half late we have been hearing, so many things are. So, our Acharya used to say, at least everybody should know how to grow our own food. So once in a while you all can learn how to grow little, food and all that. So even if we are dependent on something and that is not available, that's not end of life. I can just live in a very simple way. Chant Hare Krishna. There are a lot of things to read. So many things to do. Maybe I may not have the so-called standards of living. It doesn't matter. I live a simple life. At least I am not come to the end of my life. I can happily live. Actually, this simplicity we need to cultivate because we are dependent on somebody else. It's better to depend on God and learn some alternative. Particularly, this is how to grow our own food because this is God given. You can depend on God, no problem. He will never let us down. But if you depend on somebody else, then it will sap our energy. Then artificial standards of living. The one more is called artificial standards. For example, in our house, let us say power gone, generator is not getting on, electricity is gone, AC is stopped. Now, can you exist for the next 10 minutes? Can you exist for the next half an hour? We cannot. Why? Because we got used to all this. But it's an artificial standard of living. How can I say? Because there's thousands and millions of people don't have all those facilities, but they're living. And then, so naturally speaking, actually we don't need, but we just got used to it. Okay? So once in a while, you spend time in the woods. in the natural environment. Get used to it. Even if it is hard, doesn't matter. Get used to it. Very important. Huh? Because artificial standards will not be available always. Very, very important. Yesterday we had a sports day in our Baselwood school. We have an international school near Shamshabad on the way to, it's called Satya. And then, so I was mentioning during our school days, that means I'm talking about 40 years back, our school days, if I have to reach my school, I have to take one bus. For bus stop, I have to walk 10 minutes. Then there is a bus for 20 to 30 minutes. And then once it stops, from there another 5-10 minutes walking. Then I will reach the gate of our school. I remember there was a slopey road, and we have to climb that road. It's like a kacha road. We don't have that much sophistication those days. It's like a kacha road, and then finally you show up in the class. And if you are late, my teacher used to put us on the wall bench. You have to on the wall. You have to be like a bench for some time. So we are in constant anxiety. Every day is an excitement. But you can see how much we used to walk and travel and this and that to reach our school for education. Now our facilities have improved, civilization has developed. Yes, now the bus will come right in front of us, our house, our door. The parents can see the child. It's all important. And then the child travels in an AC bus, reaches the AC room, and then studies, and then again comes out, gets into the AC bus, and then again comes to the AC room in the house. Can you believe? They cannot take any little austerity. It's not good. So I was telling, at least the sports day will break all those. And then the children are really on the field. They're playing. There is little, sunny environment, and they're playing nicely. So everybody, we all enjoyed the children playing around. So create some natural environment in your house, in your own flat or something, on the terrace, or wherever possible. You create some natural environment. Once in a while, go and spend some time. All those very important. Actually, there is a pandemic called B12 deficiency. Do you know? Particularly, this modern age, it has come up. Of course, they say only in vegetarians it is there. No, it's not true. It's there in everybody. And the reason for that is we are not exposing enough in the sun. The sunshine, which is beautifully coming. Imagine in India there is B12 deficiency. But you cannot be forgiven. India is full of sunshine always. So that's the beauty. So regular habits, just spend some time, chant our rounds under the sunshine, sit in the terrace or wherever, chant Hare Krishna nicely. Enjoy your life. This life is meant for simple life, high thinking, Bhagavatam thinking, chanting Hare Krishna. This is life. Okay, so that is Alpayusha Sabhya. Kalau Asmin Yuge Jana, in this age, the public are Manda. Manda means lazy. They are very, very slow, particularly in the field of self-realization or spirituality. They may be very excited in many other fields, but when we say about the spirituality, self-realization, people are very, very slow and lazy. In fact, many people are lazy, even materially also, unfortunately. And of course, the devotees here, they come early, but I am saying in some places, some people I see, they, particularly on a Sunday, getting up early is a big tapas. Okay, so Manda. Why Shastra is repeatedly saying that the self-realization is important? Because it is the only life, the human life, which is suitable for such inquiry and such knowledge. Enlightenment is possible only in human life. Education is possible only in human life. For example, we have universities, we have colleges only for human beings. For the other species, there is no such plan of colleges or they don't need, they're not interested, they're not capable. But human beings, we have this great advantage. One should be eager to know the secrets of his life, and what makes the life successful. So one should know his relation with God, Krishna, and then nicely be enthusiastic to participate in this Krishna conscious activities. So that is called Manda. And Prabhupada says, why people are lacking this self-realization, interest in this? Because of bad system of education. This is the problem. If the childhood onwards, let us say, we have been given this little impetus, then today we will be in a different mode. But then we all came very late into this. So that's why we are trying to rectify that in our school. From the childhood, we are trying to create some interest in them, and at the same time, the professionalism will be there in their studies and academics, but at the same time, they should also know what is the value of life, spiritual values, and the culture, everything. So that is Manda. Sumanda Madaya. Then next one is misguided. Even if some people become interested in spirituality, religion and all that, there are innumerable people to misguide us. In the name of religion. Prabhupada is saying, unauthorizedly they create in the name of religion, there is no basis, they create some kind of a path, and most importantly, they talk very nicely, they put up their garments and this and that so nicely that we become fascinated. Oh, this, and then they speak so nicely, but there is no basis for Shastra or Veda. There is no basis. But they create such a line of action that people we become misguided. Guidance is not properly available. Nobody is willing to tell the truth. For example, here, Prabhupada, you see, he says the truth straight on the face, whether we may feel bad or not. Because a saintly person, he tells the truth. See, look, for example, Prabhupada is saying, keep your habits regular, you honor prasad, all these things. Why is he saying? Not because these saintly persons, they are not interested in some big numbers of followers who don't have anything to do. They want few followers who understands and follow nicely. At least their lives will change. They can see some light. So, Manda, Sumanda Madaya. Also, civilization, what is happening is we are creating innumerable diversions, innumerable fields of engagement. Now, Prabhupada gives a list here. Some of the list may hurt us, but then Bhagavatam is Bhagavatam. It says many types of sense gratification diversions, such as cinemas, sports, gambling, clubs, mundane libraries, bad associations, smoking, drinking, cheating, pilfering, bickering, so on. So many diversions we have created in our lives. When activities are too many, agitates the mind. No peace of mind. Anxiety. This, so many things I have to do. Actually, more you increase your engagements, more it will be, will be restless. So, simplify life. Very, for example, weekend you want to go somewhere. Just decide 3 places. Hare Krishna Golden Temple, Hare Krishna Heritage Tower, and there's one more. That's all. Simplify your life. Don't create too many things. Yes, we need some relief in the night, okay, in the weekends. Okay, we may want some diversion. Divert yourself to Krishna. Hmm? That is the best formula for keeping us. So Prabhupada is saying here Upadruta, you can see the last word Mandabhagyahi. Upadruta means always disturbed. There's an unfortunate situation of this age is that we're always disturbed by something. Even political parties, they disturb us. So many ways they disturb us. This this globalization, for example, this internet and web and all that. Now, what is happening is we are exposed to information connected to the entire world. Previously, it was not like that. Previously, it is called Gramya Katha. Gramya Katha means within your grama, some village. Even if it is mundane, you will be discussing, okay, that family, this family, and you have 100 families. Only that much. Now, sitting here, now there is a news that something is going wrong in, say, some African country, some Nigeria, something, and somewhere some quarrel is happening, and somewhere some attack has happened. We are exposed to now unprecedented information. All said and done, we have to apply our mind at least for some 5-10 minutes. And then if that news is little disturbing, then next 1 or 2 hours it will go on ringing in our brain. See, one engagement we have created. About what? Something that has happened in some Nigeria, Siberia, or some other area. That is now you have to spend your time. And then, meanwhile, some political statement by somebody, then it is hurting you or it is encouraging you. Then comes our neighbors, Pakistan, what it is doing, China, what it is doing. That is one more anxiety. There is no end to it. Actually, this much information is not meant for us. Our brains, our capacities cannot swallow, cannot digest that much of information. The way we cannot digest so much of food, we cannot digest so much of information. Bhagavad Gita says, how do we manage this? Krishna says, Karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshvara. You heard this sloka, very, very famous sloka. Karmanya eva adhikara. Krishna is saying, you focus on your adhikara. That's it. Adhikara means where you have influence, where you can make a difference. Adhikara is there. For example, in your house, you want a sofa from here to there. Do you have the adhikara? Easily you can move it. But let us say you want to shift the sofa in the next house. Do you have? You don't have, obviously you don't have. Then you have to go to that man and say, please shift the sofa. You'll ask why? Why should I shift my sofa? You have to. So you don't have adhikara. Simply wasting our time and energy thinking of that sofa in the next house. It doesn't make any sense. This is what Krishna is saying. Focus on your adhikara. As a student, what is my adhikara? I have to study nicely. I have to do my homework. Whatever games are there, I have to do. Now, why should I worry about anything else? There are so many subjects which are going on all around us, and then we keep putting our mind into all these subjects. How can we survive? Not possible. That's why Krishna is recommending, Better you focus on the area, on your adhikara, where you can create, an improvement yourself, improvement your family, improvement in your job. This is good. Information also, if something is connected, say, this is not me. Don't even register yourself to such channels. Don't allow everything and anything come into your this thing, because you are wasting our time. Hmm? You just keep 3 4 channels. Channel number 1, Krishna. No, you want some music channel. Channel number 1, all Krishna bhajans and Krishna kirtans. Then there is a ringing tone on your mobile. Change it to Krishna. You are getting lot of calls today, let us say. Very good. Lot of times you will be hearing about Krishna. See, by this process, what is happening? Although they are diversions, all those diversions are converging towards one Krishna. This is the beauty of this process. Very scientific. Our thinking now remains only on one, that is one Krishna. No anxiety, no disturbance, nothing. Upadruta comes. There is upadruta comes when we focus on too many things in our life. This is the danger. So that's why a very interesting Manda Sumanda Manda Bhagya. Actually, unlucky. Hmm? Even though we have some interest in spiritual life, we are unlucky that we get into. There are many people who misguide us and say this is spiritual life and that is spiritual life. Spiritual life means always approach a bona fide and ancient parampara. Go to a an ancient tradition. Don't go to the modern fads, a modern, interesting, some kind of paths. No, go to an ancient tradition. So then they won't manipulate. And the tradition which survived for many millenniums, obviously, there is something in it. So this Krishna, he gave Bhagavad Gita 5000 years ago, very ancient tradition. Because in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, I spoke this knowledge long ago to some God. That means in the beginning of creation. So actually there is a calculation how many years back. It is it's almost like 2 crore years or something like that. Even if you see, according to Bhagavad Gita, it is spoken so many years back. So such ancient formulas, truths will help us to lead a peaceful life and lead a simple life. As Prabhupada is mentioning here, regular habits, simple food, and interest in self-realization, understand yourself, understand God, and then practice this Krishna consciousness nicely. I'll stop here. Any questions? Yeah. Our ultimate goal is we want to attain eternal life, because temporary life is agitating and full of anxieties. So we are looking for something permanent, and not only permanent, we are looking for something that can give us joy. We don't like to be in an anxious and suffering environment. So that joyful situation is possible when we are in the association of the Supreme Lord. It takes little time to understand how I can be happy with God, that is That is the process of this spiritual life. Uh, so once we derive pleasure in this eternal process, then one can attain eternal life. And then throughout the life, let us you practice. It is said that at the end of this life, we'll go back to Krishna. Yesterday, some parents were asking me, that's a sports day, no? Swamiji, are you all okay with the sports? Because spiritual life, you're all Swamiji is not. I said, we are actually more sportive than any of you. You come and see our aratis, our songs and our kirtans. we are always jumping and dancing. There's nothing but sports. And then I said, our what is our ultimate goal? Yes. What is that, Swamiji? We want to always play with Krishna. That you see little Krishna and Balaram, they're all moving around. We also, and then I said, in the spiritual world, every day is a sports day. Every day is a sports day. There is no anxiety for our food, these, that, nothing. So if you want such facilities, always be happy, then the only way is develop our spiritual life. It is already there in our hearts, just we need to develop it. That's all. We've forgotten, now we have to develop it back. Then we can be like that. In Kali Yuga, because our life is small, a shorter process is being given. Very short process. And what is that process? Joyfully chant and hear Krishna's holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. A respectful, devotional chanting and hearing. Now this chanting and hearing, I'll tell you the secret. The secret is not in chanting, the secret is hearing. So, first is to produce the sound. This 16 words. This mantra has 16 words. So, produce the sound without missing any words. That means Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. No. Full mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Very clearly, please pronounce these names. And don't skip any words. Because Shodashaka Nam, Shastra says 16 has to be pronounced. Now the second point is, whatever we are pronouncing should enter into our ears and then cross our minds and then reach our hearts. That's where the soul is. It should go and touch the soul. So it should penetrate our ears. And it is how it can penetrate our ears. If we think of something during chanting, then we cannot hear. If you are thinking of something during chanting, something happening in your house, something happening in your business, something happening in, there's so many details. Or, the match which is coming up, or match that is over, or this. Oh, so many diversions are there for the mind nowadays. I remember some of our well-wishers and donors or whatever, I think during World Cup, looks like India has lost. I can see the next 1 week they are not normal persons. They are not able to focus on anything. Our formula is, why should you see all those? Not disturbing myself. If you are a little curious, what is the result? Let everything get over. Next day, anyway, it will come in headlines or whatever, depending on, whether okay, little pinch will maybe there, and then go on with your if you want happiness like that, it should be unfailing happiness. Here, you may or may not get. Why you should live in that anxiety? Why we are going attracted to sports? We want to just enjoy, all the fun. But then there is an anxiety there. Hmm. So we should have unfailing way of being happy. Unfailing way. Huh? So for example, you want to see what is that unfailing happiness. For example, today you come 6:30 to our Golden Temple, Hare Krishna Golden Temple, and there will be a Sandhya Arati and then Kirtan. A nice Kirtan will be there. There will be around 200, 250 youngsters will be there, and you see how they are jumping and dancing. And then also there are a lot of Matajis, they'll also be dancing and jumping, unfailing. See, if you want happiness, ensure that it is unfailing, unbreakable. This is the secret. Otherwise, why we have to put ourselves in anxiety and then feel why this has happened? It's not in your control. So that's why let us practice this chanting and try to hear as much as possible. Don't think of anything else. It's called thinking japa. No. Thinking japa means, it will not be so effective. Even then it is effective, but it is not so effective. But that's okay. We have to start somewhere and then slowly we develop our attraction from hearing more and more. When you understand that it is God, the Harinam, he is God himself in the form of sound. He is sound God, sound Krishna. What you are hearing is sound Krishna. Will you not receive Krishna if he comes to your house? What do you say? If Krishna comes, let us say. He knocks the door, open, and there is a Krishna. Narayana is there, Krishna is there. How will you receive him? That's the attention. That should be the attention. Now, sound God is coming. Krishna only, but in the form of sound he comes. What is that sound? When you chant Hare Krishna, there is a sound, no? For example, I am speaking now, there is a sound you are hearing. That's called sound. As simple as that. Hare Krishna, Krishna. That sound should enter. That vibration should enter. And it should sink into our system. So, this is the secret of chanting and enjoying. Give pleasure to Krishna and we will also be happy. Our goal of chanting is we want to give pleasure to Krishna. You may say, just by chanting name, how it gives pleasure to Krishna? Now, many of you are fathers. Now, your child when calls the father's name, calls the father, will it give pleasure to the father or not? Papa, Papa, and Mummy, Mummy means it gives pleasure or not? Same pleasure God gets. When we all chant, the pleasure of God is this, that he is now chanting, he is now learning to speak my name. This is the pleasure they have. Okay, so don't worry, God is observing us, he is conscious, he is with us, and when we chant, he is happy and we will also be happy.